Okay folks, so this is the beginning of the garage roof project. And what I'm going to do is just show you the state it's in. And you can see how it gets improved as we move on. What you can see from the roof here, part of the roof is held on at the other end by rocks, which is pretty wacky. And there are virtually no studs in the roof at all. So with the exception, as you can see there around the rim, there's virtually nothing holding this roof on at all, which is kind of interesting. Just a few rocks, so that's all got to change, I'm afraid. I'm going to cut that tree back as well, I think. Now it does have a roan. In other countries that's called a drain gutter. That seems to be in reasonable condition, although I'm not sure where it actually drains off to. Now in some places it has been chopped, as you can see there. But there are other places just underneath, which you may not be able to see with the camera there, where water can just get driven underneath. And it does. You can see that the heavy awning is only held on by a tiny wee bracket, which is pretty wacky, I have to say. And I think that's got to change. So the other end of the garage, you can see it's kind of full of holes, and there's no proper sidings on it or anything like that. And I've no idea where that drain pipe's going. The windows are a complete mess. And it needs rendering too, so it's all got to be done. So inside the project we've got some rather poorly supported cross joists here. They're not very good, let's say, and only two joists going across the garage from one side to the other. Considering that nothing's actually holding the roof on really, that's pretty dangerous. There's a lot of old electrical gubbins that's got to be shifted, as you can see there. And the rest of it is just awful. So this has got to come out. Just over there we're going to put another joist just on this section here, and we're going to put another two joists, and that one there just one. And I'm going to try and split the timber in the middle there so that we can still use that again. The way I'm going to put the roof on with sheeting, we're not going to need so much cross joists there. There's mainly lateral joists. But as you can see, there are big holes in the sky coming through the other side there. And the ivy's coming through as well. And this garage is very wet in the winter. Right, so here we are. We just received a delivery of timber to proceed with the roof project. So these superb, so now we can get on with it. Still need a couple of drill bits, but I guess we can get on with it now. So these have arrived. These are joist hangers. You can probably guess what I'm going to do with these. And boxes of screws. Also, got all the timber stashed in the garage there to prevent it getting wet from the rain and all that. And now we're going to begin the process. Okay, so just here we're going to have one of the beams, and you can just see there where I've marked it. That's going to be cut in the middle and split. And then just up here we have to move the electrical cables a little bit. So you can see we've cut through that now, and don't worry, this is not a supporting strut or anything like that, it's just a cross strut. You can see that's the thickness of the joist, so that fits there. Okay, so you notice this is cut at an angle, and essentially it's the same angle as that. So we put this piece of paper up against the long flat bit of the roof there, and then drew a line down so that we got the angle. Okay, so here we are just measuring the angle off on the other end. We measure the total beam length at this particular point is about 346 centimetres, that is. We've now done this, that's been done quite neatly. These are to stabilise the beam really, and they do support a little bit of weight. And then at the end there we've got the first hanger in there. So now we've got a 3 support on this end. Now it should be noted just before I switch this particular sequence off, the old joists that you see there, they are an imperial size, and it's not legal to use those now for new constructions. for joists anyway. I mean, they're just cross pieces. They're not really joists. But and so that is why the new one is much thicker timber. The old ones, of course, are not going to be lifted out. They're just going to stay where they are. Now this area here that you see in the centre, that's going to have 2 joists, and there's going to be another one just like the one I put in right at the very end there. Okay, so now we've installed that beam. There's still a few little things to do there with the electric screwdriver when it arrives. This beam here now, you can see there where it says A, I've marked it off at 1/3, and just there, so that's got to be cut next. But as you can see in the centre of the shot there, you can see there's a little roofing nail coming right through the corrugated. So I've got to get on the corrugated roof and get that off. And it's right in the centre where there's no support, so I'm going to have to be really careful. Okay, so after we've done that, we're then going to have to remove all this ivy and mark off the back. Okay, so this area here, this is already marked off. You can see the pencil marks there in the centre. But it's going to be guided by that central cross strut just there. And again, this is going to have a joist hanger on it, and I'll try and show some of the construction. And this electrical wiring is now going to be moved because one of the joists has to sit just here in the centre of the camera shot there, and that wire is definitely in the way. Now one piece of wire is archaic and just needs to be moved. It'll just be cut off actually. The other bit is actually for that lamp, so that'll have to be carefully loosened off. Now one of the things I want to show you were these little roofing nail things. They probably do require a special tool to get them off because they screw in and off. They screw off, otherwise you've got to cut them off with an angle grinder. But I discovered that you can actually use an 11mm socket, which is probably cheating the manufacturer's profits. So there you go, there's a useful tip for you. Anyway folks, that brings us to the end of this first little video. Thanks very much for watching. We will next be peeling the roof off